Hey, good morning. It's MJ. How are you? So today I want to talk about the continual manifestation loop that the majority of humanity finds themselves in. Why is that? Mainly out of a system of control and domination, which is siphoning the energy field and the innocent energy field of human consciousness, and have been in dominance on this planet for a period of time, which has allowed this system to embed itself in the etheric realms and on the earth plane. It is removing itself, has removed itself, and yet we're seeing the playouts, and also some of us within our consciousness are seeing with greater clarity this. I hear a lot like the corrupted motherboard, and it's like a spider-like energy that's fixed itself in beyond our atmosphere, but in our kind of galactic centers, I guess you could say. And then via this corrupted motherboard, low level energy siphoning beings have infiltrated the earth realm and the earth field. I always want to infuse a sense of divinity, that it's all held in divine. So, like, again, there needn't really be any fear. However, those of us endeavoring freedom within our own consciousness field, part of our journey, for me certainly, is like rooting out with some sense of making sense of it, the darkness here and the corruption, the control and domination. And as I continue to shift through and burn through veils, I'm aware that there's a lot of distortion in spirituality and in manifestation and or law of attraction circles, because they're still rooted in this corrupted motherboard, i.e. the false economy. So recognize when, and I've done it, so I can honestly like see and be honest with the clarity around how it's corrupted and why it doesn't lead to freedom. It just loops us back into more control and domination patterns. So advertising and marketing, any kind of that is just control and domination, essentially. Anything to do with like NLP, and even really to such a degree like reprogramming our minds. Just be mindful of, you're the one who wants to reprogram your mind. And although we exchange information, and every time we're exchanging information, there, you could say there's an upgrade or a downgrade. Just be mindful of that. Be mindful of how it feels when you're interfacing and engaging with other humans and other information, because if it starts to bring you down, there's a downgrade happening. This is not in your highest favor. If it feels good, if it feels lifted, this is great. This is a positive encounter. This is something that is going to up level you. Being aware of the ebbs and flows always when it comes to manifestation, rather than a loop. So in my awareness and in my reality, I'm seeing less patterned loops. So once you really start to outwork your systematic programming, there will be less to kind of less physical circumstantial stuff to kind of hook into, because you're not being triggered anymore on the emotional, so the limbic system, you're not being triggered, thus you're not re-entering that holographic matrix anymore. You're not re-entering that that view, and instead you're staying in your center point, in your integrity. And so there's less loops and there's less specific obvious patterns, and there's more just flow from within self. I want to talk about a few things now just around self-care and self-love. I've had some pretty low days the last couple days, sleeping a lot, and you could say my body's clearing something and I'm just allowing that to happen. And within that heaviness or that low feeling, I could call it jet lag, I could call it any number of things. To me, there's always a bit of a process when we upgrade and then integrate new information and new awarenesses. And there's been a lot that has entered my field around the depth of darkness and disparity on the planet and underneath lots of veils. So things that can be kind of like, what? That's impossible. That's impossible. That couldn't be what's going on behind closed doors. And yet, there's a connection here with this weird corrupted motherboard and the falsehood of Hollywood celebrity idol worship culture, just idol worship, which is why I can honestly say there's still plenty of distortion in politics and spiritual circles. Any circle where there's an obvious leader and a bunch of followers, there's some egoic kind of, and not like, well, yeah, no, there's something going on. And it's different than people congregating at a festival and having a good time and listening to some music and listening to some talks and everybody having a kind of jolly frolic on an equal playing field. A lot of festivals with integrity I really do feel into as like new paradigm activity, which is fantastic because it's up-leveling, it's upgrading people. And the more conscious they become, the more leveled up they'll become, i.e. less unconscious drug and alcohol abuse and more just conscious drug and alcohol abuse where people are still present and aware and basically yoking that bliss and ecstasy from within with maybe a little bit of help. Yeah. Okay, so self-care, self-love, that's what I was talking about. And like when we don't even feel like doing that. And that's sort of, I just am being honest, that's kind of where I've been in the last few days, is so dark and heavy, processing and like siphoning through these awarenesses and this energy construct and like what it all fucking means in the great scheme of life and my own life, because I'm at another crossroads. And I mean, in one breath it means nothing, and then in every breath it means everything, because it's like the gateway to the new world. It's like basically bottoming out with all of our darknesses, facing all of our corrupted aspects, rooting out the most evil of evils that we could possibly fathom and conjure within our own imagination, and the kind of corrupted aspects of conspiracy and all these kind of hidden agendas to manipulate the mind of human consciousness. And yeah, you could say there's a contract or a soul contract or something that we all agree to be here, which we do. It's just the way the contract is laid out is pretty shady, you could say, or kind of cunning. And then those of us like that are for whatever reason in our mind and awareness here to kind of root it out and claim sovereignty, I would say just at some point have to face up against this depth of darkness within this field of creation, because the divine outpouring is so beautiful that the darkness endeavor is worth it. That navigating in full open awareness the depth of insidiousness and enslavement and corruption and darkness and veils and stuff like, ritual sacrifice and drinking the blood of children and innocence and stuff is all like really, really dark, and at the same time it within its own field upholds itself as like a creator context. So in a divine will and a divine free will universe, you're allowed, that's just what is for some beings who choose to control and dominate. So this is the difference of choosing the light versus living in darkness, like really easy polarity construct to understand. Living in the light is a belief in your ability to radiate and conjure the manifestation of your just highest vision and most benevolent form, grace, beauty, abundance, harmonious, you know, encounters and alignment and all that kind of stuff. So light-filled benevolence is like a crystalline, divine, harmonic, and it's like, it's just all the things of creative beauty. But so we uphold that and recognize the polarity in that. Non-judgment, detachment, allowing, and yet birthing the manifested new, birthing the construct of a light-filled reality. Again, doesn't mean everybody gets along and sings kumbaya. Doesn't mean everybody wants to live the same way. Yet there's not this shady, veiled aspect of corrupted darkness anymore. It's all out in the open for everyone to see, which is a weird thing about people talking about the event or things like that, is that is part of this feeling or idea of it is an event in the field of human consciousness, and it is a choice to merge it all. And that's probably why we're seeing all these veils being lifted and deeper layers of these sort of the shadiness of things like Hollywood, because Hollywood is a perfect example of it, because it lures everybody out of the celebrity lifestyle and movies to a certain degree. There's a glamour and a prestige and an elitism and a, well, beauty within all of it. Most of it's corrupted, though. Most of it is used to control the mind of the masses, to make everybody want to seek and grasp and be special and be important, but underlying in denial of our enslavement, in denial of the fact that we're not anchored here, we're not embodied here until we are. My personal experience and process, it was through the emotional field, through owning the trigger, wave, and storm, and allowing my emotional field to clear out. I could not have planned or imagined even the outcome and the continuing unfolding, because there's no deadline, there's no end, there's just this continual unfolding of my life path. And I wrote a book, and I have no attachment to it. I'm just continuing to live my life, and I'm really thankful for this platform to share on. Increasingly, however, I'm finding, though, this withdrawal into 0-point creation. So, and I have no idea how, but I'm aware of what's coming through as far as being guided to land and being guided to people to build and create that harmonic vision that comes through the channel. Because part of me is aware that I'm like, okay, after everything I've been through in this life, it can't get darker than this now. The spider energy fucking corrupted motherboard in space, and like the multi-layered veils of control and domination via all the lovely lollipop and rainbows that we grew up with, and these deepening veils of more and more people having these moments where they're like, oh, wait a minute, I thought my childhood is really wonderful and special, and then like suddenly like, boom, they have this kind of awakening where they're like, wait a minute, was it though? Like, yeah, how we lie to ourselves and how we've perpetually, systematically been lying to ourselves in a really simple way, just about our power. And this is why I'm here to kind of call out any form of trying to get is looping us back into the same false economy. And it's clearly structurally shifting any sense of that operations within All to Love. And those of you who are aligned with the message, those of you who've had sessions with me, you know what I'm like in session, i.e. like, it's not about the money, although we live in an economy, so I appreciate the benevolence that comes to me, but I never like deny a sesh if you can't afford the price point that I'm guided to register under, right? That number doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me is clarity for all of us. And straight up, if you're resonating with this, if you listen to this, I'm thankful, and I would like to connect in an exchange way. And I am, and it's beautiful because you guys are reaching out to me, and this is leveling up in a way I never imagined. I just want to keep working with people and breaking free, and yeah, making it about paying me doesn't feel right. Making it about having an exchange, understanding that this is what I do for a living is the most important thing. So whatever offer comes through is dominantly accepted by me, and I'm usually amazed, actually. Most of you guys like always pay like this the amount, right? I just am being quite like, oh. I think because of what I'm processing, what my awareness is like attempting to integrate, and then the shift, the energetic vibrational shift off the back of this awareness expansion, and me attempting to share and not gloss over the depth of darkness that I've been sitting with. Oh yeah, and I don't think I even mentioned it, or maybe I did. I'm having a funny time with my hair and ears, by the way. Self-care and self-love. And like take care of yourself and all the well-being industry stuff, I'm finding that even quite a lot like, oh, as in, yeah, I guess I could say to you like self-care and self-love is sometimes like letting yourself not leave the house ever or for days. I know I've had to be really compassionate towards myself these last couple of days because I've just had no energy to do anything. And I've been reviewing a lot of low-level energies, self-destruct, self-despair, disgust, guilt, shame, like that, and loneliness, despair, just like the depth of not belonging. And then today, I've woken with a little bit more gusto, and I made, oh, let me show you! I found this, like, trick on, well, YouTube, of course, and, so I've not done it how the video told me to do it, I've just done it my own special way because, well, mainly because my seeds were already all ground up. So this is flaxseed. I think it's just flaxseed that I randomly ground up at some point for some reason. not knowing it was going to make this jellification. So, so I have another day. I don't have like an official have to leave my house for until tomorrow. I'm meeting a friend. He's taking me for Christmas lunch, which I'm just so appreciative. Again, you guys know I'm fairly solitude. I literally have like 3 or 4 friends, and I'm just so thankful for those people in my life. It's insane. So this is just like a paste. So I just heated it up with water. So it's like a gooey, it's flaxseed, by the way. So it's linseed and or flaxseed. I think they're the same thing. And there's meant to be like really good omega oils in this. And they siphoned off. So they, instead of, because it wasn't all ground up for the video that I watched, it was just seeds. And then she boiled the water and mixed the seeds together. And then drained the water. And then the water became this sort of like jelly paste. Jelly, I guess. So I'm kind of going off that theme. By the way, this is all around self-love, self-care. You can see I've got some lemon, so it's in a jug. So I've made myself some lemon juice, and I've kept these because I think I'll use them to whiten my teeth, whiten my teeth. And I'm gonna use this bad boy flaxseed jelly all over my face, and probably just put it like around on my body and like scrub myself with the jelly. There's some kind of benefit. There's some kind of like radiant creating benefit to all this. By the way, I'm not just like bashing up some seeds, putting it on my face for fun. No, it's like, it's for beautification, okay? And hence self-love. So sometimes I have this stuff out for a few days, but I don't get round to it. And I'm fairly gung-ho. I'm Aries. Not that any of this shit matters, but yeah, I move with speed and have done most of my life. And I'm now much more centered, grounded, and practical, and desiring an actual base and more stability in my life. And so I'm endeavoring and am creating that, miraculously so, I gotta say, from this point of view, because I don't know how it just happens. So yeah, not doing anything for the last 3 days has been incredibly challenging for me, and yet I'm feeling okay about it. And again, I've woken with like a sense of, yeah, I want to make my jelly and make myself feel beautiful. Cause there's a beautiful world to create. Oh yeah, fuck. Remember, MJ? Remember what all of this is always about? Was 1, to just be joyful and happy, and 2, endeavor to use that joyful radiance to permission other people to be joyful and happy. And there's just been a whole bunch of random fucking bullshit in between all of that, and there still is, including siphoning the deeper layers of darkness in our collective programming. And this fucked up bullshit of people talking about manifestation, but they're not fucking manifesting, yo. They're just looping into more control patterns. This is one of those kind of edgy things that people might not like when it comes to teaching manifestation or whatever, because they're not actually owning their shit. They're not actually endeavoring to transform darkness. They just want to have stuff to power over people, because there's still this core wound of enslavement patterning. If you're a slave your whole life, deeply traumatized enough, then, you know, once you get enough money or you get access to this club or that crew or whatever, then you can treat other people like shit, like those people treated you like shit because that's what you think you're supposed to behave like, versus the unified presence field of heart, love, compassion, which sees us all as one. And if y'all don't see us as one, I don't think we're living in the same existence, yo. I don't think we're living in the same plane of existence. Certainly not where There seems to be another collective agreement happening across the board, hence the event 0 point presence. Hello, online, we're live. We don't need an external corrupted fucking currency when we're aware of our energy field. It's that simple. It's that fucking simple. Most people just aren't aware of their energy field. They're just protecting and blocking a bunch of their shit. That's like the nicest way to put it. We don't own our energy field. We just keep blaming and attacking, or we keep complaining, and thus we try to control and dominate. Hence all of these different marketing tactics. That whole level of humanity is purely vampiric. It's... So I'm gonna keep sharing. I'm aware of whatever. None of it matters ultimately. I'm just gonna share as and when. If you have something valuable to add, I appreciate it. I'm also likely to not really check comments much anymore. I'm sorry, guys. The thing is, if you really genuinely are like into what I say and what I do and don't just want to troll on the page, then, and most of you are awesome and amazing, so it's good to go, then you can send me an email. You can subscribe to altalove.com, but I'm just finding it too wobbly to check comments, and because the sensitivity is just too great for me to be attacked on some levels, so I need to just keep myself as clear as possible. Similarly, messages and emails and stuff, if you want to have a chat, I usually bullseye, 20 pounds, 20 minutes. If you're part of the Fearless Life Tribe, it's actually, if you're part of the Fearless Life Tribe, it's 22. But here, none of that matters. You see, none of that matters anymore. If you want to join the tribe and help Alta Love or support me, it's just me and like an intimate little crew of people who are pioneering our breaking out of darkness and corruption, which might mean living on community one day, which might mean just supporting more people the way I would want to support people via a business, not old paradigm way of having shareholders and just this endless stream of greed. Having a cap, and then anything extra goes into fun projects and cool, wonderful, benevolent, harmonious things happening on the world, which there's lots. I've just gone through a bit of another bottoming out, and so I'm feeling edgy with that, and I may or may not keep this video up. It depends, ultimately. Probably. I think there's nuggets of wisdom in there that are useful to those of you who are earnest in your freedom endeavor. I love you guys. Have an awesome day. I look forward to hearing from you. And those of you that I'm working with, thank you. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate your generosity. It helps me keep going. Namaste. Peace out, guys.